see what's after that. You never know.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Chris Bumstead. Man, he's a master of marketing. That one hint about going to men's open bodybuilding took the bodybuilding world by a storm. And there is this another hint brought by him in his recent YouTube video.
Got a photo shoot this weekend, staying shredded. We'll see what's after that. You never know.
So he is more than likely not gonna compete in any bodybuilding show ever again. But just think about the idea of Chris announcing that he is gonna do this one particular show, regardless of where he places. The engagement, the exposure that he is gonna bring, that is gonna be nuts. Because the kind of audience that follows him, that is just supreme. So if that actually happens, the show because of Chris Bumstead is just gonna be insane. So C-Bum looks to be in a great shape 2 weeks after the Olympia this year. He's still huge, still ripped, and he is gonna do extremely well if he enters an Olympia qualifier for the men's open class. His cutoff for classic physique is 242 pounds, and after competing in classic physique division for more than 8 years, there is definitely a lot of room for him to come in bigger and fuller and really big as a house. That too with the same condition that he brings to classic physique. And that is gonna be a treat to watch for us bodybuilding fans. Because the thing is, we all know, majority of these classic guys, especially the top classic guys, they can be a few pounds heavier and maybe look even better on the stage. So we are gonna wait for a couple of weeks till C-Bum is done with the photo shoot and then see what's next. So is any of us even slightly surprised that Rubiel Mosquera aka Nexera is out of this year's Prague Pro as well? There is just no way he will make it to the stage looking like the way he looked in his recent update. And some bodybuilding outlets, they have confirmed that he is 100% out of Prague Pro. So I have got to say, having potential, that means absolutely nothing if someone doesn't have the dedication and the drive to be one of the very best in the world. And as of right now, Rubiel clearly lacks that. I believe that Oxygen Gym co-ed environment, that suited him the best, with Chris Cormier and Brion Ansley there, really pushing him to be his best, to his absolute limits, so that he can bring a good enough package. And although he did not achieve the results, but at least he got up on that stage with all these other guys and really battled it out with guys like William Bonac, Baros Tabani and Nathan Diego. But then again, I have to say whoever manages his social media, they have done such a poor job at it. Why announce that you're gonna compete in a show weeks back? Then there is a possibility that you just wouldn't. I believe his sponsors and his coach Francisco Espin, they made the statement that just because Italy Pro and Europa Pro are very close to this year's Dubai Pro, so his new team wanted him to go through an entire prep with Francisco Espin before stepping back on stage. And that is why they made this announcement that he's gonna be doing this upcoming Prague, because there was still plenty of time from Dubai Pro till Prague Pro. And it seems like there is gonna be disappointment once again. So Rubiel himself hasn't confirmed that he's doing any of these shows, including Prague. But the fact is he is less than 3 weeks out, and not anywhere close to contest ready shape, and also attending the Dubai Muscle Show, while Martin Fitzwater and all these other guys, they are grinding really hard to beat their Olympia looks in these upcoming shows. That just goes to show us there are different levels to this game. So I guess there isn't any need for the confirmation from Rubiel Mosquera that he isn't doing Prague. Next up, we have a physique update from Horand, aka Marcelo, just 2 weeks out of this year's Romania Pro, where he is gonna be going up against his best friend and his fellow countryman, Rafael Brandao. So this will be the second time Horand is gonna be going up against Rafael Brandao. And the last time they competed against each other, that was at this year's Orlando, Ohio, and Horand wasn't even in the same call-out as Rafael Brandao. Now, again, I'm gonna say those are some of the best quads in the bodybuilding world right now. But just bigger quads, they just are not enough to win all these big shows, especially a contest where we have 2 top 10 Olympians from this year. So Horand hasn't competed since March of this year. So we are expecting to see at least some improvements in his overall physique, especially in his back, because he looked way behind in comparison to some of the other top guys that were there at this year's Arnold. And not just the other top guys, all of the other guys. His back double biceps was absolutely abysmal. But that being said, Horand has put on quite a lot of muscle in the last couple of years because originally he was pursuing the classic physique category, so he was unable to make that weight cutoff. Now I am pretty sure if all of these new classic physique weight regulations they were in effect back when he was trying to compete in classic, he would have made the weight cutoff, and he probably would have stayed in classic physique because the men's open bodybuilding, that we all know is the hardest division out there. So it has been 1 year since Horand was seen on the same stage, Romania Pro, and that physique was pretty impressive. I mean, he was able to beat guys like Nathan Diesha, Mohamed Fada, and Andre Presti. So the potential is definitely there, especially if he comes in peeled, if he brings the condition. The 7 times Miss Olympia, one of the most dominant champion the sport of bodybuilding has ever seen, Heath was spotted in Dubai today at Dubai Muscle Show, and just look at those arms. I have got to say his arms are still better than many of the active IFB pros, even some of the Olympians. The crazy thing about Heath is that he did not even directly train his arms for most part of his career, especially after winning his first ever Miss Olympia. So his coach Hani Rembard once revealed that Heath's arms, they are just so insane that they will grow no matter what. And just because Heath was a perfectionist when it comes to presenting the perfect look that he wanted to on the stage, he wanted to have a great balance front to back, top to bottom. He did not want to grow his arms anymore because he wanted to keep that balance. And if we look at Heath's arms back in his prime, it wasn't just his biceps and triceps that were so well developed. His forearms, they also went perfectly with those guns. So was Heath ever really challenged during his reign, during his prime? Well, some say Big Ramy really pushed him back in 2017, but Heath had much more quality. He had much more muscle maturity in comparison to Big Ramy. Some say Kai Green in 2014, especially at the prejudging. That was probably the one and only time in those 7 years when Heath looked kinda vulnerable. But 10 years later, even the fans of Kai Green admit that Heath deserved to win that year. Just a typical Roelly Winklaar, messing around with George Farrell. So Roelly Winklaar, I have to say, is definitely onto something, especially in these last couple of weeks. He is again turning into a beast, especially his arms. They are looking massive. So William Bonac just competed 2 weeks back at the Olympia this year, and he placed 7th. So the fact that Roelly looked so great in this picture, standing right next to William Bonac, that is impressive as hell. So Roelly has been retired since 2021, and he was having some major problems with his shoulders, and that is why he could not train. But he has been training really well and eating big, especially in these last few weeks. So many of these guys who were competing in the era of prime Heath, they never really believed that they could be Miss Olympia. Roelly once said that if he places top 3 at the Olympia, he would be the happiest man in the world, and he actually did accomplish that back in 2018. So could he have won the Olympia that next year in 2019? When the lineup was kinda weak, maybe he could have. But Roelly's biggest problem throughout his career, that was always his inability to get truly shredded, to be consistent with conditioning. So there was another cool video of him and the winning Masters Olympia champion, Kamal, training together. So Roelly is eligible to compete in the Masters Olympia. Just saying. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.